Welcome back to another episode of Walton Racing. Today, we're kicking off an exciting new project, the Factory 565 Coupe build. In this episode, we're taking you behind the scenes to see how it all began. From the initial idea, to the renovation of our brand new workshop, and the very first steps of the build itself. So how did we get to this point? Well, we'll need to go back to the summer of 2023 at a Father's Day car show. Talking with my dad about our favorite cars from the show, he offered an idea. What if we, you and your brothers, bought a car to restore and put it in one of these shows? Without hesitation, I agreed. But then I had an idea. What do you think about building a kit car instead? Dad seemed hesitant at first, but I laid out my reasoning. No scavenging through junkyards or driving hours to find rare parts. Everything would be clean and brand new. We could run a modern crate motor to boost reliability. And after some discussion, we came to the agreement that the kit car route felt like the right choice for us. Over the next few weeks, my brothers and I dove headfirst into researching different kit car companies. And let me tell you, there were a lot of options. We finally settled on a car from Factory 5 Racing. They're known for their top-notch replicas, and one in particular caught our eye, the 65 Coupe, inspired by the iconic Shelby Daytona. Now, you might be wondering why we went with the Daytona instead of the more common Cobra kit. Well, for us, it was about standing out from the crowd. Now that we've decided on the car, let's talk about specs. First up, we're dialing in on the aerodynamics. We're talking seriously aggressive aero here. That includes front dive planes, front splitter, front lip, monstrous chassis mounted wing in the back. It also includes modern features such as an independent rear suspension, Willwood big brakes, Gen 3 Coyote crate motor, and a Tremec T56 6-speed transmission. So the car will put out a solid amount of power and be pretty reliable. Now I can already hear all the purists screaming into their screens right now. Well, that's not what a Shelby Daytona is supposed to look like. That's not period accurate. Well, this is a kit car, and while we appreciate everyone's opinion, we're going to do what we think looks cool, and if other people like it, that's great, and if they don't, well, that's fine too. Alright, getting off my soapbox. So next we need to figure out where we're going to build this thing. Our garages were definitely not an option, as I think it would have driven our wives insane, and we're trying to keep them as happy as possible throughout this whole process. We found a commercial space for rent and spent the next few weeks getting that ready. At the end of October, we got notification that the kit would be ready and Stewart Transport would be showing up with the car Thanksgiving morning. Luckily, the delivery came early that morning and we were able to get everything off the truck and in the shop in about an hour, so not too bad. Next, we did a full inventory of all the parts that we had received. Factory 5 recommends that you do this as soon as you get your kit so they can get out any parts that are missing. Fortunately for us, there were only 2 parts missing, and they were already noted from Factory 5. Now that inventory's finished, it's time to take off the body and metal panels. All of the metal panels were connected to the frame using tappets. Here we are tracing where each one of the panels meets the frame. Factory 5 recommend doing this so you have reference points for rivets later. Okay, all the panels are off and we're down to the bare frame. Next we're going to install the lower control arms for the front end. Before doing so, there are a couple of grease fittings that need to be installed. You'll see installing the control arms was a bit of a challenge. We went into this build knowing that these cars are not Lego sets. Some things will go in quickly, some will need to be modified, and some will need a little persuasion.
Now that's what I'm talking about. How to build a car. It's broken.
Don't hit it with the hammer.
Why?
Because it's the tool of a pikey.
Once the nuts and bolts were installed, they were each torqued to 100 foot-pounds. As part of our process control plan, each nut was marked with a paint marker to signify it was torqued to spec. Documenting each step of the build is important, especially when building with a group of people. And that's it. The lower control arms are installed. Thank you so much for watching part 1 of the 65 Coupe build. If you enjoyed it and want to keep up with future videos on this project, please like, subscribe, hit that notification button, and we'll see you in the next one.
Can I start on the interior?
I think that's an excellent idea.
I'll get a hammer.